Namaste. Today's video is about the salient features of the new NCERT textbook for class 2. The new generation textbook actually has been was released, and we have already started following that from the current session, that is 2023-24, and it has been developed based on NEP 2020 and NCFFS 2022, and it is mostly play and activity based, and this is actually to motivate children to learn with interest and with joy. So today I am here to discuss about 10 salient features of the new textbook, that is the name of this textbook is Mridang. The earlier textbook was known as Marigold, and this is a new textbook of English for class 2. I have gone through this this textbook meticulously, and some of the salient features of this textbook need to be discussed here for the benefit of the teachers, the parents, and all the stakeholders who will be handling this textbook. So the first point is about it being play based and activity based. Second point is the name of the textbook has been changed from Marigold to Mridang. And the third salient feature of this textbook is that it has got more illustrations and more diagrams, and it is more colorful. This is for the benefit of the children because they are attracted to colors and diagrams, etc. And the next salient feature of this textbook is that this textbook has got kind of a subjective approach. The content is less, but the approach is subjective. Subjective approach means it is like the child's personal perspective. So more of an activity based book where the child's personal perspective comes into picture. So that is the fourth salient feature that I have noted. Next one is that all chapters are full of interesting pictures and interesting questions. There are lots of interesting questions in the new textbook, and this helps the child to think critically, reflect, visualize, analyze, and reason, and also imagine. So the activities are included in such a manner that all these things, it makes the child to imagine, it makes the child to think, it makes the child to critically think, analyze and reason, and also be creative. Then the next salient feature is about that QR code, that is a quick response code is given. It is given in the textbook, and once you click on that, it goes to the e-Pathshala site, and there are lots of videos and other study material which can be used made use of in the teaching learning process inside the class. And next salient feature of this is that there is a note for a teacher. Most of the pages, wherever the lessons are there or the poems are there, there is a footnote for the teacher, wherein it is described as to what approach the teacher has to take, and what more activities can be done inside the classes to reinforce that particular concept of that particular topic. The next salient feature of the book is that there is inclusion of sight words. Most of the lessons they are having new words as well as sight words. Now there is a difference between the sight words and the new words. The sight words are actually the most frequently used and repeated words in English. So those words need not be taught with the phonics approach, because they are most frequently found and frequently used. Words like is, of, and, this, that, the, etc. So those can be taught to the children as sight words only. So the phonics approach need not be followed there. And then the ninth point is the inclusion of the knowledge of India. This I found very interesting. There are many lessons where Indian values and traditions have been presented to the learner in a comprehensible and acceptable way. And for example, that there is a lesson by Little Drops of Water. Actually, it's not a lesson, it's a very nice poem. And it's an important poem, and it is reflective of the Indian value of cooperation and peaceful coexistence, which is, because Indianness, to bring about the Indianness, and we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is one earth, one family and one future. Now the next salient feature of this MRIDANG textbook for class 2 is that it is kind of the exercises are they have a heading, and it's not like question answers. It is like the exercises are more of interactive in nature. Like the topic will be read as let us recite, let us read, let us listen, let us write, let us think, let us do, and let us draw. So here the child will not feel the pressure of learning, but collaboratively, with the help of the peers, or with the help of the teacher, they will be doing the activities in a very interactive manner and in a very joyful manner. So these are the 10 salient features that I have identified from this textbook after meticulously going through all the chapters. Now, one point I would like to emphasize is all the teachers who are handling class 2 and all the parents also and all the teacher educators also must know is that although the books form an essential part of the learning process, it is also very important to note that books are one among the many pedagogical tools that has to be used. So if the teacher goes to the class and opens the textbook and starts teaching from the textbook, the class will not become effective. So in addition to this is one of the tools. This textbook is only one of the pedagogical tools. Teacher has to use all kinds of other pedagogical tools. For example, toys can be used, games can be used, lots of teaching learning materials can be used, conversations can be done, discussion can be done, imagination can be done, rhymes can be different kinds of rhymes and poems other than what is there in the textbook can be taught to the children, and it should be included in the teaching learning process for the classes to become effective. So this point all the teachers and people who are going to teach these children, they must note. Now coming to the lessons that are there in the textbook. The previous textbook, that is Marigold, was having 10 units. This textbook, it is having 5 units and 13 chapters, and they are unit 1 is Fun with Friends. It has got 2 chapters, My Bicycle. My Bicycle is actually a poem, and then picture reading, and Out and Out is a lesson. Unit 2 has got Welcome to My World. First chapter is It is Fun. Chapter 2 is Seeing Without Seeing. Unit 3 has got 3 chapters, Going Places. It is about travel. The theme is travel. The previous one, the unit 2, was about of differently able children, the theme. Here in the unit 3, the theme is travel. That is, first chapter is come back soon, second chapter is between home and school, third chapter is this is my town. Unit 4 is life around us, and the chapters are a show of clouds, my name, chapter 2, chapter 3 is the crow, and chapter 4 is the smart monkey. And these lessons, they work on the observation, imagination and perception skill of the child. So the lessons actually, and the last one is unit 4, and it has got 2 lessons, little drops of water, which I already mentioned, and chapter 2, we are all Indians. So the themes and the topics have been selected very, lot of work lot of thinking has gone into that, and we all know that NCFFS, which was released in 2022, it talks about the developmental domains. And of the 6 developmental domains, the domain of language and literacy development, I am going to talk about that here. Of course, we all know about the concept of Panchakoshas, the 5 koshas, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manonmaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. And we also know that children or even adults, we are having 5 sheets, and all these 5 sheets need to be nurtured and nourished. So to nourish and nurture these koshas, which are related to the developmental domains, different developmental domains, we need to have different kinds of activities. See, the domains, domains are, there are curricular goals of these domains. There are 3 curricular goals in language and literacy development domain, and they are, first one is children develop effective communication skills for day-to-day interaction in 2 languages. And a second one is curricular goal, second is curricular goal 10 as mentioned in NCFFS, and it is children develop fluency in reading and writing in language 1, that is L1. And then the third one is curricular goal 11, children begin to read and write in language, in the second language, that is language 2. Now, I will just briefly align the lessons with the curricular goals that are given in NCFFS. These curricular goals, the 3 curricular goals that are given in NCFFS, they are, they are related, or they are further divided into competencies that has to be developed for achieving these curricular goals. First we have aims of education, then curricular goals, we have developmental domains, that is language and literacy development. Then we have curricular goals under language and literacy development, which I already told. Now under this curricular goals, we are having competencies that needs to be developed to achieve these curricular goals. And the competencies are further related to the learning outcomes, and how to achieve this learning outcomes, they are by the activities that the teacher does in the class. So it is being, it is done in a very systematic manner, and once the teacher or the parent understands how it is related, what are the activities that are given in the textbook, or some of the more activities that needs to be done in the classes by the teacher, how that is related to the learning outcomes, and learning outcomes how it is related to the competency, and competency how it is related to the curricular goals, and curricular goals how it is further related to the domains of development, and then finally our aims of education. So once the teacher understands that, then it will be very easy for the teacher to totally understand this textbook and then use it very effectively in the class to make her class effective and make the children learn and achieve those competencies. So the competencies are under curricular goal 9. Children develop effective communication skills for day-to-day interaction in 2 languages. The competency that has to be developed is listens to and appreciates simple songs, rhymes, poems, etc. Okay. Now, to achieve this competency, there are ample reflections in the action songs and engaging short poems given at the beginning of each chapter. So most of the units, they are having a poem and a lesson. So the poems are it is a reflection of this competency that is to be achieved. So it's another point I would like to emphasize is that it's not only the poems and songs that are given in the textbook that are to be used. Teacher has to teach a lot more rhymes and songs from other sources. Then second competency that is to be achieved is create simple songs and poems on their own. To achieve this, in the textbook, learners are encouraged to think of rhyming words which addresses the curricular goal 9.2. Next one is the competency 9.3, and that is converses fluently and can hold a meaningful conversation. Now, to bring about this competency, there are exercises provided for young learner to engage in meaningful conversation, which I have found in the latest 2 topic, that is Unit 1. There is a story about Bubbly and Jeet, and they are playing. Both of them are playing, and they have a conversation with one another. And from this lesson, we can ask the children to converse fluently and hold a meaningful conversation. We can ask the children that activity can be modified in such a way that we can ask two children to name them. We can ask them to be one child to be Bubbly, kind of a role play that can be done. Then next one is competencies, understands oral instructions for a complex task and gives clear oral instructions for the same to others. So to achieve this competency, activities such as color the hut, and it is given in Unit 5. The activity of color the hut are examples of a series of instructions that the child needs to understand to complete a given task. So sequencing is also here, series of instructions one by one, how to follow those instructions to complete a task. So this competency will be developed by the activity that is given in Unit 5. Then next competency is comprehends and narrates, reads out stories and identifies characters, storyline and what the author wants to say. So here interesting stories in simple languages are provided, Unit 4, life around us. And child is able to narrate stories with clear plot and characters. So lots of stories are there, lots of poems are there in the textbook, which is, the idea of that is to develop these competencies and then further develop the curricular goals. The competency 9.7 is knows and uses enough words to carry out day-to-day interactions effectively and can guess meaning of new words by using existing vocabulary. Words related to familiar objects are given. There is a box in each lesson wherein the new words are given, and the words related to familiar objects and events from day-to-day life are also found in the lessons in this textbook. So this is about how to achieve curricular goal 9. And then the next curricular goal is children develop fluency in reading and writing in language 1. This I am not going to discuss in this video. I will discuss the curricular goal, that is curricular goal 11. That is for the second language, that is because English is a second language for our children. Children begin to read and write in language 2. Now this is a curricular goal that we have to achieve, and the competency is develops phonological awareness and are able to blend phonemes, syllables into words and segment words into phonemes and syllables. Now this can be achieved through tasks in the textbook. The child becomes phonologically aware. That is, ability to discriminate between similar sounds to become a successful reader. So this is our first competency, 11.1. Next competency is to be developed is recognizes most frequently occurring letter of the alphabet, that is forms of akshara of the script, that was this knowledge to read and write simple words and sentences. So the activities, what I am trying to say is that the activities that are given in the textbook are mostly to achieve the learning outcomes, and to achieve those learning outcomes, more activities need to be done by the teacher. So don't go only by the textbook, more activities need to be done by the teacher to achieve those learning outcomes, which will be reflected as a competency, and once these competencies are achieved, our curricular goals will be achieved, and then our developmental domain of development that will be achieved, and then our aim of education will be achieved. So this is actually, I hope I have made myself clear. The idea of presenting this video was that I need teachers to understand that how to handle or how to go about, planning your lessons, or using other materials, or only, you should not, the teachers and parents should not limit themselves only to the textbook, because it is not meant to be. It's not meant to be done like that as per NCF. And hope this video will be useful to all the parents and teachers out there who are getting this new textbook, and they are finding it difficult to finding it difficult to understand how to go about teaching from this.